Good morning, everyone, and welcome to NeuroHackademy. We're very excited to welcome you here to this year's event. This first lecture hour will be an introduction. We'll tell you a little bit about the whys, whats, and hows of NeuroHackademy. And we'll talk a little bit about the schedule and logistical issues, and hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions about what's going to happen here over the next 2 weeks together. First, just kind of the big picture, why. So one way to frame that I use to frame why we're doing this event and what the purpose of this is surrounds the idea of a brain observatory. Brain observatory, probably familiar to all of you in various ways, is a big data set that lots of people work on collecting and lots of people work on analyzing together. Sort of classic case of a brain observatory is the Human Connectome project. It's really, I think, changed the way that our field operates in many ways. Other data sets focus on specific questions, like questions of lifespan development, like this CAMCAN data set from Cambridge. Developing Human Connectome project that focuses on data from very early life infants. Other data sets like the ABCD data set that focus on adolescent brain development, the UK Biobank with its massive data set of eventually 100,000 individuals, and the Child Mind Institute, which actually topically fits better with ABCD, maybe also similar data sets. So all these data sets are very large, very complex, and they hold a lot of promise. We think that with these large sample sizes, we can provide more confidence in the results that we get. You'll hear a lot about that in some of the lectures today and later in the course. In some cases, these are samples that better represent the population. They're the kinds of samples that we can collect in individual labs. And these give us opportunities to ask questions about interactions between a variety of complex factors just by virtue of their size and by virtue of their sampling. And with these data sets, we're sort of entering an age of data-driven discovery. We can start doing exploratory research that's very hard to do on smaller samples and in targeted experiments. And this is particularly in a time where data-driven approaches are proliferating across other research fields as well, and even in industry in a way that then we can borrow from many other places for our own work. But of course, it's also very challenging. These large data sets are computationally demanding just by virtue of their volume. Keeping track of things becomes very hard when you're dealing with these very large data sets that are distributed over many different machines and so on. Interpretations can get complicated when you're dealing with data-driven discovery methods. And primarily, the reason that we're here is that these methods are not often taught or not regularly taught as part of the standard neuroscience curriculum. And so that's where we step in with NeuroHackademy to teach about the intersection between neuroimaging and what we think of as data science. And you'll hear a lot more about what that is. But for now, just kind of a listing of the kinds of topics that we'll be talking about: machine learning, statistics, data visualization, high performance and cloud-based computing, open source software that we'll talk about a lot this week, reproducibility, data and code sharing, and publication, how we do collaborative research around these kinds of data sets, and then, of course, how do we do this in a way that's ethically grounded. These large data sets with all their opportunities also expose us to all kinds of risks that are new to these kinds of approaches and not necessarily inherent to the classical training in data science ethics or in ethics. Okay, so that was just really a short introduction to the idea behind the course, and I'd really like to jump into some of the more mechanics of the course. I forgot, of course, to introduce myself. My name is Ariel Okem. I'm research faculty here in the Department of Psychology at the University of Washington, and my research group works on those topics that I just mentioned and other topics. And I direct NeuroHackademy together with Noah Benson, who's sitting right here, and we will meet in just a minute, who is a senior data scientist at the University of Washington eScience Institute. Okay, with that out of the way. So what are we doing here? Well, the NeuroHackademy is divided into 2 weeks. So we'll all be here together for the next 2 weeks. And it's divided into 2 separate sections by week. In the first week, you'll learn all about methods of data science and their application to neuroimaging. I'll tell you in more detail about the schedule for that in just a minute. And then in week 2, you will take on and apply some of these ideas and tools in a hackathon, which will be a lot more free form. And you'll see the schedule for that as well. In just a minute, we'll talk through the mechanics of that. So here is week 1. Maybe I'll minimize this so that I can see it. This is the plan for the first week. So here we are on Monday morning. The way this schedule works is that we have the days up here, and then we have different rooms here, and I'll sort of explain how we get to these different rooms, that either physically or via Zoom in just a second. But let me tell you about the schedule for today. So we're starting here with this introduction at 10, and whenever we're done with this introduction, we'll go into an icebreaker, and every day at 10, between 10 and 10:30, we will have a coffee break. So that's a break from the lecture. Those of you who are on Zoom can take a break and just, not stare at a screen for a few minutes. And then those of us who are here, there'll be coffee out here in what's called the Alder Commons. Today, this coffee break will be special because we'll also do an icebreaker that will involve everyone, both on Zoom and here in person. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. Later today, the lectures today are all going to be here in Alder Auditorium. The Alder Auditorium is also matched with a particular Zoom link. So we'll show you in a bit when we show you there's a website where you can actually find all these links. But if you made it here to this Zoom room, then this is the Zoom room that we will use throughout today. So today we'll have a series of lectures that will, I think, start from the big picture, ideas about neuroimaging data science, which is also one reason that I didn't feel need to go into too much depth on talking about those things in this introduction, because you'll hear about that in a lot more depth, first from Russ Poldrack in his talk about reproducibility in fMRI. Then Jack Van Horn will talk also about sort of data science and brain science. And then we'll have a talk given by Zoom by Emmy Kusieski, who will get us more into details, talking about a specific tool that uses neuroimaging data, uses data science methods. And then finally, for those of us here physically, there will be a welcome reception at 5 out here again, Alder Commons. When I say Alder Commons, I mean the room right next door here, which is this big room here. And there is a Zoom link that is also matched to that. So if things happen there, then you can join on Zoom there. Tomorrow, we'll have a series of lectures and tutorials as well. We'll hear again from Russ about AI-assisted programming. And then we'll go into a series of tutorials. The tutorials will take place here in Alder Auditorium, and in this Zoom room that's matched to this Alder Auditorium. And then in another room, Alder 103, which is here in the entrance, and also has a separate Zoom link for it. And we'll show you where to find all those Zoom links in just a minute. So we'll start with some Python programming here in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll talk about Git and GitHub. You'll see that each one of these lectures here has 2 parallel lectures. And the idea here is that people come with different backgrounds and different experience. And so we've basically built this to have in every lecture 2 different tracks, depending a little bit on your own self-assessment. If you're experienced programming in Python, if you have very little experience programming in Python and want sort of a gentle introduction to the programming language, then, for example, Kelly Chang, who's right in front here, who's a postdoc in my group, who will be teaching this week several of the tutorials and lectures. She'll be teaching an introduction to programming in Python here in this room and in the Zoom link associated with it. And then for folks who have a little bit more experience programming in Python and want to get into the details of how to design, implement Python libraries that you can share with others, then I will be teaching that in Alder 103, which is right over there, and in the associated Zoom room. And then in the afternoon, the same thing. We have sort of, some of you may have more experience with Git and GitHub. Some of you may have less experience. If you're relatively new to Git and GitHub, and it's still all very new to you, then introduction to version control of Git here with Noah. is a better place for you to be. I'll go really quickly over Git and then go into sort of more advanced collaboration patterns that use Git and GitHub in Alder 103. And then we'll all come together for a talk by Nicolas Stikov about reproducibility in quant data. Okay, on Wednesday, we may or may not, we might have some issues with this first lecture here, but so we might have to replace the first lecture with something else. We'll let you know about that. But either way, we'll all be here in the morning. And then again, we have tutorials, again, two kind of different lectures, one more focused on data visualization, Python, the other more focused on a different technology, Docker and software containerization. Again, the guidance there is like, if you're a little bit more, if you took this first lecture, Introduction to Programming, then maybe data visualization, Python is the next step, and then we'll catch up on software containerization later on. And same here in this afternoon lecture, there'll be an introduction to deep learning, which I'd say is for folks who have more experience with machine learning, who have worked with machine learning methods. And then I'll give an introduction to machine learning, which really is for folks who have less experience with machine learning here. And again, we'll have parallel tracks here, cloud computing here in Alder Auditorium. So folks who are curious to hear about cloud technologies, Nomi Alterman, who's also at the eScience Institute, will give a lecture about that. And I'll talk about, we might change this to be something else because we might cover pandas already. But if we don't cover pandas, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll do something a little bit more advanced Python thing here. So you can choose between those. Then on Thursday, we have a series of lectures here in the auditorium focused on a variety of topics. This will be a little bit more of an advance into zooming in on various things. Time series analysis in the morning with Kai Miller, then introduction to imaging genetics with Jen Forsyth, and talk about statistics and reproducibility here in the afternoon. On Thursday afternoon, we will also have a careers panel. Several of the lecturers and other people will talk about more about sort of the personal path into their career in neuroimaging and data science. And we'll have that in the Alder Commons and the Zoom link associated with that. Okay, on Friday, Dora Hermes will start us off talking about the brain imaging data structure. You hear about brain imaging data structure and BIDS, I think, before that, but she'll go into a lot more detail, especially how to work with various multimodal data. And then in the morning, we will do something that will start preparing us for the next week, which is that Noah and I will showcase a few different data sets and how you access some of these data sets that I mentioned in the slide before, and how you make use of them within the course, maybe preparing the way for things you might do in the second week, where you'll be working on some of these data sets or some of these technologies that you'll learn about in the first week. So we'll have a little showcase where we'll show you different data sets and show you some software for how to access those data sets easily or relatively easily. And then we have Stephanie Noble. We'll talk about web apps to facilitate fMRI study. And that can also give you maybe ideas for things you'd like to do in the second week. Finally, on Friday afternoon, what we'll do is some review sessions. We found that it's often helpful to revisit some of the things that we talk about. Either you weren't in the lecture for something that you want to hear more about, or you were in some lecture and you have some lingering questions. So what we'll do here is that we'll field your questions and sort of discuss things that we didn't get to or things that are still unclear, things that you'd like us to elaborate on. And we'll just have two parallel sessions for that. And you can choose a little bit. If you attended more lectures with Noah, maybe you want to ask more questions there. You can go to stuff that Noah talked about. Or if you weren't in Noah's lectures, but you want to hear more about the things that he talked about, you'd go to Noah. Either way, you go to Noah, it sounds like, and I'll just be by myself. But if you really insist, you can also come to the room. So I'll be in here, and Noah will be in Alder 103 for these review sessions. Okay, so that's a lot, of course, and this schedule is also on the NeuroHackademy website. So maybe I'll just show that. If you go to neurohackademy.org and go to courses and 2024 schedule, you'll see the schedule. It's not quite laid out the way that I showed it now, But one of the nice things about this schedule is that if you go in here, then you see this page. And in this page, there will be also a video of this lecture sometime later today, probably, and so forth with all the lectures. So if you're on Zoom and you're watching this a little bit later because you're in some other time zone, you can always catch up with us later on or watch the videos later on by going to this web page, clicking on the specific page of the lecture, and then the video will be embedded in here. So this is another way both to see the schedule, but also to see the lectures. Did I just navigate away from? All right, so that's week one. And I just wanted to sort of highlight that we're very fortunate to have this amazing roster of instructors teaching with us. Folks, some of you who may have seen videos from previous NeuroAcademies will recognize that some of these people have been teaching us with us for many years, and some of these are new. We try to mix things up a little bit, but we're very fortunate to have all these people really contributing their time and effort and expertise. And I think we're all lucky to be able to hear from these really experts on a lot of topics that cover neuroimaging and data science. One thing that we'd like to do is also give you all the opportunity, and this is in particular for folks who are here physically in the room, to interact a little bit more with these people. And there will be also an opportunity for those of you on Zoom. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But one way that we think we can facilitate a little bit more face-to-face interaction with the instructors who will be here. So some of the instructors will be here for a few days. They're going to give a lecture, and then they'll be here. You can talk to them, of course, at the coffee breaks, over lunch, and so on. Part of this is kind of an opportunity for you to ask more questions informally. But in order to facilitate that a little bit, what we're proposing is to facilitate kind of lunch with instructors. So some of the instructors have kindly agreed to designate certain lunch periods to maybe have lunch with a few, I think 5 of you. And the way that we're going to facilitate that is that if you're interested in having lunch with a particular instructor, there's a Slack channel called Lunch with Instructors. And in that channel, there's a series of raffles. We've set up the Slack bot that does raffles. And if you click on joining the raffle, then it will add you to that raffle. And then on every designated day, so you'll see the day and the time and the person on that designated day, right after the lecture that ends at noon, right before the lunch break, you can meet with that person right out here outside Alder Auditorium, and I'll go together to lunch. So for those of you who are here physically, part of the logistics is that you've received probably when you registered, you received a card that you can use in order to get lunch across the street here at Local Point, which is the cafeteria. You can also use it in other places. There's a grocery store right up here called District Market. And other, you can find online the various places where you can use this card. It's loaded with a certain amount that should be enough for you for breakfast and lunch until the end of the course. So that should be enough. But anyway, on the day that you're having lunch with an instructor, you can just meet out here and then go over to Local Point and sit together and then have a forced opportunity to interact, which is always good to have. Okay, and then as it says here, the raffles will occur at 11:50 a.m. So 10 minutes before a lunch break, the raffle will tell you who was chosen. And in order to facilitate better interaction, we're kind of limiting this to 5 people and an instructor every time. Okay, and now I'll pass this on to Noah, who will take the rest of this.
Morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Noah Benson. As Ariel said, I'm a senior data scientist here at the eScience Institute. I am mostly interested in the relationship between brain structure and brain function in the human visual cortex. So if you're a vision person, come talk to me at some point. Okay, so week 2 is a lot different than week 1. Week 1 is a lot of lectures and a lot of, you're going to be absorbing a lot of material from us. In week 2, we have the hack projects. And the idea is that you'll all form into groups and work on a project of your own making for the entire week, and we'll have a presentation of these projects on Friday. So as you can probably see, the calendar here is a lot sparser for week 2. That's by design. That's because you're going to be spending most of week 2 hacking. But the important part, I would say, is that early on Monday, we'll have a lecture here in the auditorium that's sort of designed to set you up for success in week 2, where we'll have a project manager from the eScience Institute come and talk about GitHub and project management. And then also in the morning, we will, out in the Outer Commons, have our hackathon pitches. And the idea here, we'll talk about this more as the week goes on, but the idea here is that you all will get up. Anyone who has an idea, not everyone needs to propose something, and you can propose more than one thing, but anyone who has an idea for a hack project just gives a very quick, like 1-minute presentation on what they're thinking, and we'll facilitate some sign-up sheets and make sure that everyone has a space to meet throughout the week. And you'll just work on those projects during week 2, largely. We'll have a morning stand-up every day in the Outer Commons. This will be a quick, like 20-minute go around, talk to each of the teams. We also will have an event called Lightning Talks. We'll have a sign-up sheet for these as well. That'll be on Wednesday. And the idea is if you want to give a 5-minute talk on what you work on outside of NeuroHackademy, we'd love to hear about that. And we'll be going through and doing them all very quickly. So that's Lightning Talks. On Thursday, we also have an optional tour of the Center for Human Neuroscience here, where you can go see the MRI machine at University of Washington. I think we have it set up so you can do some example scans. And then on Friday, we'll have our final presentations and farewell reception. We'll also be having impromptu sessions during this week. So if there's a topic you really wanted to learn about, but we didn't have a lecture on, if there's a group that wants to get together and talk about some topic that we didn't, maybe Ariel and I are not prepared to teach. And additionally, we'll be having Zoom office hours, all of those in week 2, and those will be scheduled in a more impromptu way, and we'll announce them as we get them. Okay, so I want to just talk briefly about the hybrid format. I think this picture does a nice job of capturing what the hybrid format sometimes feels like. All of our lectures during week 1 are going to take place on Zoom, and we have things set up so that people on Zoom should be able to ask questions and interact with us, and we should be able to hear them over the audio, and this has worked in the past, and we hope it works this year. Our goal here is that those of you on Zoom should be able to participate in the lectures, just like the people in person. That said, we know that some of you are in weird time zones. Some of you may not be doing these lectures synchronously with us, so we will be making recordings available as fast as possible online. We have set up these owls. So this device that you can see in the front, this is an owl. It's called an owl, well, because of these eyes, I guess. This is a camera microphone combination device. And the idea is we have one of these set up here. We have one of these set up in each of the rooms. And I'm going to show you a map of the rooms in a second. With a laptop. In the case of this room, it's this laptop. And the idea is you can use these to interact with the people online. So this is the Alder Auditorium's owl. And for all of you online, you have a Zoom link to the Alder Auditorium Zoom room. And when you join that Zoom link, you'll be connected with this laptop and this owl, which is also in that Zoom link. And that's true for all of the different spaces we have, which I'll show you in a second. So the idea here is that you can interact with the online folks using an owl, and online folks, you can interact with us in person using an owl. As you might imagine, this is a nice advantage for being able to talk to people online, but it's still going to take some work for us to include everyone. And I just want to emphasize the fact that we are not promising that the experience is going to be the same for everyone in person and the people online. That's just not realistic. We are doing our best to include everyone online and make sure that you feel like part of the program here as much as possible. And I just want to make an ask to everyone who's here in person. Please don't forget your online fellows. It's something that's very easy to do, especially when we're all here talking to each other at coffee breaks. Especially during week 1, we're not going to have as much interaction, but during week 2, please be very welcoming of the people who are joining your projects from online. Please don't exclude them. Please try to find ways to work with them, even if they're in different time zones. This is going to take some amount of effort by all of us, so just please be aware of that. Okay, I think I explained that. Yes, for those of you who are in person here, you may go into a room at some point and there's an owl that's there, but you need to log in or something like that. For that, you can log in with the password ESCI 1234. We'll put that in the Slack somewhere so you can remember it. Okay. Yes, there are some media release forms. If you're online, I will show you where to find these in just a second. For all of you who are here in person, up at the registration table, there were some forms to fill out. These are just forms so that we can post lectures where you might be in the background online. That's what you're releasing us to do, basically, and to take pictures for the eScience website. Okay, I already talked a little bit about this, but we've set up some infrastructure, including the owls. You all should be on Slack by now. If you're not on Slack, then please, as soon as we're done here, come talk to me or Ariel so that we can get you on Slack. We're going to do a lot of communication on Slack. The general channel is for general discussions and questions. If you haven't done so yet, please introduce yourself in the introductions channel. There's also an icebreakers channel, and we're going to use that in just a second when we do the icebreaker. And I'll talk more about that. But there's already the first icebreaker question there. So when you have a minute, head over and answer the icebreaker. The icebreaker room is intended as a way for people online and in person to kind of talk to each other and chat. So, please use that. And then every lecture that we have will have a channel as well. The welcome room is for this lecture. But if you have questions about the lecture or you want to keep the discussion going afterwards, you can always use those channels to chat. Yeah, and feel free to add channels if you have interests or for your hack project in week 2. Feel welcome. Okay, there is a Jupyter Hub. Now, if you've never used Jupyter, we're going to be giving you some introduction to that in the Intro to Python section tomorrow, I think. I'm going to show you a quick demo of Jupyter in just a second. But basically, you need to go to, if you want to use the Jupyter Hub, you need to go to neurohackademy.2i2c.cloud, and you can authenticate there with your GitHub login. If you have trouble authenticating, also come up and talk to me and Ariel after this session, or send us a message on Slack so that we can get you access to the NeuroHackademy Jupyter Cloud. Okay, we have Zoom rooms set up. They are matched with physical spaces, as I've explained. I'll show you where to find lists of those links in just a second. You may have noticed that you can't chat in these Zoom rooms, and that's because we want you to chat in Slack and not in the Zoom, so that we can keep those conversations going. In week 2, we're going to have all these owls out and available. During week 1, we're not going to have as many owls out because we just need them for the lectures. But today, specifically, we're going to do this icebreaker. And in the icebreaker, we're going to be practicing using the owls. So they're all going to be set up this morning. Okay. As far as collaboration goes, mostly in week 2, we encourage you to use Jupyter notebooks. We're going to have a session on Docker, and Docker is a good way to collaborate on things you can't run in the Jupyter cloud. We're going to encourage you to use Git and GitHub for your projects, and ideally to make some kind of project page in Git or GitHub. Okay, so the hackathon during week 2. The idea here is that this is supposed to be like a focused and or playful exploration of some ideas from the course or related to the course. It can take on a lot of different forms. We're not really picky about this. It can be a data analysis. It could be a software implementation. Those two things, it could be both of those things or either of those things. So it could be something that doesn't produce any software, or it could be something that is a software tool. It could be an epic poem. It really doesn't have to be any particular thing. It just needs to be something that lets you kind of explore the ideas that you've learned in this course and work together on it. We'd encourage you to explore something a little different than your day-to-day. Specifically, don't just bring your thesis project and do your thesis project here at NeuroHackademy. That's my 2 cents anyway. You'll get more out of this if you expand your boundaries a little bit and try something different. So a little more practically, I've already mentioned a little of this, but during week 2, we'll start off with a hackathon pitch session, and then we'll have team formation. We'll facilitate some of that sign up and make sure that every team gets an owl, that kind of thing. Groups can, and I would say even should be, hybrid, online or in person. There's nothing wrong with having an entirely in-person team or an entirely online team. Just don't exclude people who want to be on your team. That's our main rule. If you want to get ideas about projects, there are projects on the website from previous years. You can go check those out. You don't have to wait until week 2 to start thinking about this. In fact, I encourage you all to start talking about it at lunch and then break some things, what you might want to work on in the hackathon. And we have a Slack channel set up just for brainstorming ideas and kind of talking about team formation and such. It's Hackstorming channel. We want to emphasize that collaboration is not optional here. We would prefer you not form teams of one. Please be proactive, ask questions. We encourage you to try something new, as I said. Find birds of a feather, people who have similar interests to you or who know more about things you want to learn here. If you need to, take some time off. Seattle's a great place to explore in the summer, and the weekend is a really nice time to do a lot of that. We'll talk more about that as we get close to the weekend. Okay. Also in week 2, I mentioned lightning talks, short, 1 slide, 5 minutes. Talk about anything at all. Usually people talk about their research, but if it's relevant to NeuroHackademy, feel free to talk about it. You can go to the lightning talks channel to tell us what you'd like. And I think we'll have a form there you can fill out to sign up for a lightning talk. And as I mentioned, we have kind of impromptu breakout sessions. So if there's a topic you really want to hear about that we didn't get to or we didn't get to enough in week 1, let us know and we can have a breakout session for it. We'll schedule those kind of impromptu. Feel free to also hold a birds of a feather session where you just want to get together with other students and talk about some topic. Zoom office hours, we'll be posting a schedule for this once all of the instructors have given us their availability, but basically during week 2, this is especially for people who are joining us remotely. Since you don't have the opportunity to have lunch with instructors, the idea is the instructors will all hold office hours strictly on Zoom. Those of you who are here in person, you're welcome to join those as well, but they'll be on Zoom. They won't be in a room in person. And as I said, we'll post a schedule for that soon. Okay, finally, I just want to mention our code of conduct. And I just have a short version of it here. We are dedicated to a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, ethnicity, age, religion, or choice of technologies. Take this very seriously. And we would like to ask 2 students to volunteer to be part of the code of conduct response team. The basic idea is if you feel there's been a code of conduct violation, you can always talk to me or Ariel. You can also talk to one of the volunteer students, and they can report it to us. If you are willing to volunteer to be one of those code of conduct officers, please send me or Ariel a direct message on Slack and we'll set that up. Okay, so at this point, we're going to transition over to doing the icebreaker in a minute, but I'm going to start with a quick demo of some of the stuff I've talked about. So I'm going to start by going to the Jupyter Hub. So just go ahead, along with me on your laptops or whatever right now, navigate to neurohackademy.2i2c.cloud. So I'm guessing that I just want to make sure everyone can see that. Whoops. Can you all see the well, it's this part right here. Okay, great. Ariel just posted the link to general. So go ahead and follow that link. You're going to need this for the icebreaker, so please do follow it. This is our Jupyter Hub server. This is a Jupyter Lab interface if you're familiar with Jupyter. If you've never used Jupyter before, as I said, we'll be giving you a better tutorial in the Intro to Python session. But everyone basically has a sort of Jupyter instance running that's just your instance while you're here at NeuroHackademy. You have your own home directory where you can put files and such, and there's some shared stuff. So if you've just logged in, your side list here will be a little bit different than the one that you see here. You should have a curriculum directory and a shared directory. I'm not sure if you'd have the rest of these. For now, we're going to start by going into this shared directory. So I'm just double clicking on shared there on the left. And you'll notice that there's a directory here called info. If you go into this info directory, there's just general information for all of you in this directory. So for example, if you want to know what the Zoom room links are, there's a Zoom links.html page here. And if you just double click on it, you'll get a link to all the different Zoom rooms that we're using by their name. So if you're online, you'll need this open for the icebreaker because you'll be going to different rooms. There's also the schedule that we saw earlier in PDF form is here in the schedule document. there's the personal release form, which if you're online and not here to fill it out in person, please fill this out and I guess email it to either me or Ariel. We'll post something online about doing that in just a minute on the general channel. There are some instructions here for setting up Git to work on the hub. If you're someone who already knows how to do Git, you can just follow these. If not, come to the intro to Git session and we'll walk through these together. Finally, there is a maps.pdf here. And this just has a map of the space. Now, this is an architectural map, but right below it is a slightly easier to read map. And whoops. I just want to quickly orient you. This is the auditorium where we are right now. I'm standing up down here on like the south end. I'm facing north. All of you are facing south. The Alder Commons. This is Alder 103, the room right over here where this alternate lectures are going to be taking place. And then we have Alder 105, 106, and 107 up here. And keep in mind where these are because we're going to be going to them during the icebreaker. Okay. Oh boy. All right. So at this point, I think we're ready for the icebreaker. So we're going to take the next about 40 minutes for the icebreaker. And to do this, we're going to start in the Jupyter Hub. This is a little small. Let me just make it bigger. Click on this folder to go back to your home directory on this menu. It's just that little folder there. And then you can go to the curriculum and right. So once you're in the curriculum directory, you want to push this big plus button. And we're going to make a terminal. So in the Jupyter Hub, you can open up a terminal to the Jupyter Hub itself, to your Jupyter Hub instance. And this is just like a normal Linux terminal. I'll make this a little bigger. From in this directory, we're going to run a command because I think we need to get the new version of the curriculum. Git pull --ff only. So you want to run this command right here. Okay. Did I not push the icebreaker this morning? I think I forgot to push the icebreaker to Jupyter Hub or to GitHub.
Let's do those. Did we work on Slack? Oh, the raffle.
Yeah, no, we just need the so
I'll make it some blogging issues.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a minute here. Noah will do that. First of all, is everyone able to log into the Jupyter Hub? Everyone here able to log into Jupyter Hub? Folks who have issues? It's kind of starting up, but the login all worked. Okay. That can happen. It was sitting there warming up, but now it has to start a bunch of machines, and that takes a little while. I saw some login issues on Slack, so let me try to handle those.
I think I accidentally started it with the GPU kernel and now it's just sort of stuck. Is there a way to abort that?
I don't think so. Just let it sit for a while, and it'll fail eventually.
Okay.
And then we'll then you go and get the CPU kernel.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
We should have GPU enabled machines in there, but we don't need those today. Is there? Let me just add this person. Okay.
Yeah. FF only. It's going to fast forward.
Git pull --ff only.
Yeah, I see. Okay. It's just not there. Okay, so it may just say already up to date. That's fine. It's just a question of whether you already had it pulled before this started. But should be a directory Rokum Benson introduction over here. On this side tab, you may have to make this a little bigger to be able to see the whole thing because there's also a data showcase directory. But you should, once you've run this git pull command, at the very least, you should have this Rokem-Benson introduction directory. And if you double click on it, you'll see there's an icebreaker.ipynb, icebreaker.py, and this ping file. We're going to open the ipynb file, which stands for an IPython notebook. It's basically a Jupyter notebook. And this is the notebook that explains the icebreaker. So the way this is going to work is, and I'll just explain this while you all get caught up to me here. But the way this is going to work is that for the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to switch to a different room. You're going to have a list of rooms that's your own list of rooms. You're going to go to one of those rooms, and there's going to be a topic posted in the Icebreakers channel on Slack. So if you haven't joined the Icebreakers channel on Slack, please go join it. Basically, you'll go to the room. There'll be people online in the room on the OWL, and there'll be people in person. And you'll all go around answering the icebreaker question with a little formula. And the idea behind the formula, I'll explain just in a second. It should take you about 5 minutes, and we'll switch every 7 or 8 minutes or so. So there'll be a little time to chat as well and just kind of get to know each other. So an example of an icebreaker question would be something like, if you could have either telekinetic or telepathic abilities, which would you choose? And the idea is that we all go around spending about 30 seconds answering it with just a kind of simple formula. Hi, my name is Noah Benson. I'm interested in human vision, and my answer is telepathy because I might be able to use it to talk to my cats. Something that short, and just give the answer and give a short reason why. And then just kind of go back and forth between online and in-person people and go around the room. And then any extra time you can just spend to get to know each other. Part of the point of this is that we're practicing using the owls to talk to each other, making sure we all know how to use the technology. So if you have trouble, let us know and we'll come help. Okay, so if you're on this notebook, you'll notice that there's this section that kind of explains the icebreaker. And then there's this code block down here. This is Python code. If you're not familiar with it, that's fine. But basically, if you're here in person, set this to true. Otherwise, the rest of you keep it to false. And once you've got this set correctly, and you have clicked inside of this box, and you can see like this blue bar here, hold Control and press Enter, and it will give you a list of rooms, of 5 rooms in order. These are your rooms. So for our first room, if this were my list, I would come to Alder Auditorium, which is right here, this laptop right here. And then there's Alder Courtyard, Coffee Table, Alder 105 and 106. Okay, so if I scroll down, there's the map here. Zoom out a little again. And these stars are just basically where you would find the owls. 2 of these, the Coffee Table and the Courtyard, don't have an owl. That's just in-person people. And then if you're online, there's a couple, the office hours Zoom room and the miscellaneous Zoom room, that'll just be online people. But basically, we're just going to go from one to the next and do the round of questions, and we'll announce when it's time to move to the next room in the Icebreaker channel. Any questions? Okay. Great. I think we're ready then. Go ahead and make sure you've run this. Take a photo of your rooms if you need to, for those of you who are in person. And we'll go ahead and find your first rooms now. And
hello, folks. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
If you want an annual all expenses paid 2-week vacation to somewhere, but it had to be the same place every year, what would you choose?
Can I ask some like follow-up questions? Like, is it like the same city, or if it's like a country? Or like if it's like
You get to define the parameters.
The questions.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Where would you go then?
Oh, okay, I gotta think about it. I think the first place that comes to mind is Turkey or Thailand. Between the two, just because like a lot of like rich culture and history, but also a lot of activity and amazing food, which is number 1 for me. So yeah, and I've never been.
You have to go every year.
every year. I think we could do
Even
it.
if you like have never been and now you.
I mean, I think it's gonna eat like kebabs or dark noodles, the every like quality every year. And like pet stray cats every year, so, yeah. Oh, it's not my friend, by the way. Are we linking people?
I think so. Should we like go back and forth with
I think
people
so.
online? Someone online. Got it.
So are all of these people in the group?
Yeah, we can go back and forth. Hi, my name is Kristen. It's nice to virtually meet you all. If I had to pick a vacation spot, annual vacation spot, I'd probably go with New Zealand. It's a real like bang for your buck destination and kind of has everything depending on what you want each year. I think I'd do that one.
Okay. I'm Bobby. I was actually just in Japan for a conference, and it was my first time there, and I would pick that every year from now on. That would be great.
Where in Japan were you?
I was in Osaka and Tokyo.
Okay, I think online goes next. I can be the next one. So my name is Victoria. I would pick probably Costa Rica or Dominicana because it's kind of like warm countries. And I do really enjoy like 2 weeks off like just sleeping and enjoying the beaches. That sounds pretty good for me.
I'm Sarah. I recently went to Hawaii for the first time and it was just so magical. I feel like I have to go back regularly. So yeah, I think that's where I would choose. Just so beautiful there.
Hi, I'm Benji. Kristen actually like told my one I was going to say New Zealand. I've been there and yeah, definitely you have like a lot of hiking, but in that case I can say Australia, which is kind of like similar, like everything's like I will definitely spend my time there. Nice meeting you all.
I'm Sophia. I guess I think I would choose Greece because I'm half Greek and I still have family there, and so 2 weeks expenses paid to go back and spend time there and visit. Yeah, sounds great. So oh no way, very cool. The person, yeah.
Okay, I think I can pick up. Hi, my name is Alex. I live in Sweden, so I would probably pick something completely different to Sweden. I guess South Africa would be the place to go for me. I have family there, so that's a win. But it's also a beautiful place. So yeah, South Africa.
We have no more impression people. So I think online people.
My name is Alan Davalos. I am from Mexico, and well, I think place I really would love to live is in Japan. I love the culture, the food, everything. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
We can go next. Hi everyone, nice to meet you all. My name is Jackie. I'm currently based in New York. I think someone said Hawaii and I echo that as well. I think I went 2 years ago and there was just so much to do and so many excursions. I love the warm weather, so definitely pick Hawaii.
Hi, my name is Simona. I'm from Italy. I think I would probably pick something like Spain because I love sea and also the food. I have never been there, but I would love to see city like Barcelona and so on. So Spain.
Hey guys, I think I'll go next. I'm Gopal from India. I'm currently pursuing PhD in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in the Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur, and I'm a core CS person. Currently, I'm experiencing lab shift from CS to neuroscience. So I don't know how much I could grasp from the neuroscience because I don't have neuroscience background, but I'm really very excited to like learn new things.
I guess we have to go to the second room. Nice to meet you.
I'll go next. Hi, my name's Omer. I'm at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, interested in neuroimaging of autism and math cognition. And if I could go anywhere, it would also be Japan, because mainly my hobby is studying Japanese, and I could use it there.
I guess, yeah, we need to swap out.
Hi everyone, I can go next.
Well, others.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think it's just like people are moving in person because there is like announcement, oh, please go to the room 2 now in Slack. But please finish.
Great. So my name is Johnny Shannon. I'm based in Houston, Texas, doing neuroimaging work in psychiatry, mainly in PTSD and trauma. So I will join the Hawaii team. Been there once for a conference. We'll be happy to go back for a vacation. It's a really nice place.
I agree. Okay, I think, should we go all to the room 2 as well, online participants? Yep, probably, yeah. Okay, see you there, guys.
Is there
Yeah,
another?
sorry.
Is there another link?
Yeah, I think it's like you're just going one by one. So first is Alder Auditorium, and probably Alder 103 is the next one.
Okay. Thank you.
That is my expectation.
Okay, I think I need to restart my Slack, but thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. See you guys there. Bye.
I'm assuming people are rotating right now. We're figuring out how to rotate. I feel like it's just me for the room too. I will hold with you. Thank you. I don't know. It's like look with the draw.
So I think the question is, if you had to be stuck in an elevator with a famous person for 6 hours, who would you pick?
6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours. I might just pass out and take a nap. But who's that famous? Currently, because the Olympics is going on, I think I want to be stuck in the elevator with Simone Biles. I just want to ask her about things.
That sounds claustrophobic. I'm inclined to say Amy Poehler.
Yeah,
Just because I think she'd be very entertaining.
I'd love to look funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Ariana.
Oh, Ariana, yes.
I didn't mention my name. Hi, I'm Kelly.
Anyone online want to introduce yourself and give us an answer?
Yeah, it was just any famous person you want to be stuck in an. Okay, just make sure I heard that right. Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I study MRI and nutritional factors in children. And if I had to choose, I might go with Malcolm Gladwell because he's just an interesting guy.
Anyone else? Someone online? All the in-person people have said their thing.
Yeah, there's not many of us here.
I mean, I can go ahead. I honestly don't know like which person I would say, so I hope like that other people would go ahead and let me some time to think. But I'm Elena, nice to meet everyone. I work on central and peripheral vision with patients with macular degeneration with MRI. And yeah, if I come up with a good answer, I can still go. But honestly, I don't know.
Good to see you again, Elena.
Yeah, hi.
Who else is here? I see Kopal and Shannon. One of you have an answer? Oh, and Orsi.
Okay, so just introduce myself, talking about Hawaii. I don't have a good answer for the next question, to be honest. Yeah, so I also need some time to think about it.
In fairness, I also don't want to be stuck in an elevator
You're
for 6
stuck.
hours with any famous person.
I won't be stuck in any elevator ever.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that I'm very curious how you are splitting your screen in this fancy way.
Oh.
It's
So
the
there's
first
this,
time I see it.
yeah, there's a device here you can't see that's called an owl. That's basically it's a 360-degree camera with a microphone and like we're basically talking to this device that looks a little bit like an owl. And we can see you on a screen, but it's like a 360 camera for you to see us. Yeah.
And like there's software inside the device
Yeah.
that does the screen splitting for us. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it automatically focuses on wherever it thinks the speaker is. So I guarantee that some point during these 2 weeks, it's going to like decide there's a speaker in the corner and you'll notice. But anyone else want to introduce themselves?
Hi, I can go if you like. I'm
Yeah.
Oshi, I come from Hungary. I'm a second-year PhD student and I study schizophrenia using fMRI and TMS. But I've been thinking about who the famous person would be, but I don't have any answer. Maybe a famous scientist or a decision maker. So someone very smart. Yeah, but I don't have any particular person in mind.
This question is apparently a hard one.
Honestly, if you consider our PIs as famous people, I would like dissertation time. I would have locked my PI in there with me. Like, give me my answers.
Yeah. Anyone else who's joined us wants to introduce themselves? I saw someone in the mute. Okay, well, it's time to go to the next one.
Are you on? Go. Give me the message. Have people been able to navigate the Zoom rooms okay? Like you guys have all the links and stuff? Awesome.
So can you explain where we find these links? I still cannot find them, and
Yeah, no worries. So do you have access to the Jupyter cloud?
it doesn't work for me.
Oh, okay, that would.
In the general chat.
Okay, they're also in the general chat on Slack.
Sorry, I lied. I see the icebreaker.
Sorry, the icebreaker channel, Icebreaker channel. You may have to scroll.
So in the chats, I only see the general, the introductions, and random.
If you see there's a like browse channels or add channels, you can add the icebreaker channel to your list.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's my first time on this platform, so.
No worries. There's a learning curve for everybody. Sorry, just making sure. Is it like it's there, right?
In the icebreaker channel, yeah. It's like who's message there. I can post it in general.
I think I need to make it hidden too, so you can keep it hung there.
So how do we go to different rooms?
So if the message itself should have the links embedded in like Zoom room 1 or like Alder room, whatever, it should correspond to the Zoom room.
It's in the general chat.
Noah just also said he posted in the general, in case you couldn't find it again.
Okay, I'll switch channel now. So
Yeah,
bye
go
bye.
ahead.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, me
Nice to meet you as
too.
well.
Bye.
Go ahead. Mhm. Let me take a look at this. Okay, but the links is all that. Okay. So the message itself should have like Alder Commons or Alder room like 103. If you click on that part, it should open up the Zoom room on your side. Do you see that message?
We're in 103 right now.
You're in like the auditorium.
Where should I switch to?
Just
Pick a random one. If you couldn't get the Jupiter thing to work, just go wherever.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, of course. People are filtering in.
Everyone, so I think the question is, if you could transform into any animal and back at will, what one animal?
It's so easy, sorry.
You want to go first?
Oh gosh. I thought of a general animal, I need to think of something else.
Oh boy, I actually thought it was bees, but now I don't have an answer here. Well, hi everyone, I'm Noah. I'm interested in visual neuroscience, and I think I'm going to pick a crow just because I'd like to be able to fly, and they're pretty social, and they do pretty well here in Seattle.
I was gonna ask,
Verbatim.
where in the world are we transporting back and forth?
Wherever you want to be, wherever you live.
I want to be an octopus in Arizona.
Yeah.
Where's the rest?
Someone online, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, I can go. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shin. If I could transform into an animal, I would be an octopus. Because I also think about this question way too much in my daily life. But they're such a cool creature, and I would love to explore the ocean.
I guess I do it. I'm Christian. My interests are very broad, but like I guess like specifically I guess like a lot of neuropsychology and a lot of like statistical analysis and stuff. But if I could be any animal, I'd probably be more so a falcon, honestly, just because not only would I be able to fly, which is like something, but like I can also fly fast. So yeah.
Eat crows, I suppose.
Oh, I didn't even think that.
I can go next. Yeah. Hi, I'm Megan Hebrex, and I'm interested in traumatic brain injury. And I would probably pick specifically my dog because he has a great life. Maybe biased, but he's very athletic. He gets to sleep all the time. Food just appears, and everyone's always very happy to see him because he's a very friendly dog. So that would be mine.
How would your dog feel about you transforming into your dog?
Maybe just a clone of him. We could be like little buddies, but he'd probably be very confused if another moose appeared. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Teresa. I'm interested in adolescent brain development and longitudinal modeling. I would have to, like my first thought was like, I want to fly. So I'm going to go with owl. They also like, I just also want to experience like the super acute, like, the hearings and vision. Sorry. Yeah.
Cool. Copal, if you're here, you can go next, but I think you're stuck in this room. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually introduced myself earlier also. I am Kopal and I'm from India, and currently I'm pursuing PhD PhD in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur. And I'm actually experiencing a lab shift from a core CS background to neuroscience. And currently, I'm interested in working on neuroimaging data to get some idea how we can apply deep learning models to know how emotional dynamic changes over a period of time in healthy aging. And also, I'm a little bit interested about getting how stability, integration, and segregation of the whole brain model changes during the ages.
And if you could transform into an animal?
Can you please repeat? Pardon?
Oh, if you could transform into any animal, what animal would you be able to shapeshift into?
Animal about what?
Oh, that's the icebreaker question. If you could shapeshift into an animal, which animal would you be able to shapeshift into?
It would be a cow, definitely.
Oh, cool. Cool. With you?
Hi, I'm Eram. I'm in the PhD at UPenn, and my recent interest is brain development and emergence of neuropsychiatric disorders. I've been reading for so long. So if I was, I grew up in Turkey, my family's still there. If I still lived in Istanbul, I would definitely say a cat, because they're just like rule the city, and they're like treated so well, and they can get in and out of anywhere, and it's just like really nice. Like I would just press them into a cat, walk into anywhere, and then come back and just and I would know better. Definitely not in Philly though. So in Philly, I think I would also want to be able to fly. And I think you guys took the best birds. Like I don't want to be a bird. I would have to go with a crow too.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I would go with sea turtle because I just really love sea turtles.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea of exploring the ocean. That seems awesome. But I would definitely want it to be like I would still have my body here on Earth and on land, and then I would transform, go in there, because I wouldn't want to be like deep in the ocean, me, you know.
Totally.
So the logistics of that we're gonna have to work out, but and my name is Ashley. I'm a lab manager at the University of Nebraska, and I study how we react to ambiguous situations.
Who do you work with?
Who
Who do you work with?
I'm Erin Alexander Block.
Okay. I used to work with Jeff Weird.
Oh, cool. So cool.
I feel like there's a novel like somewhere in yours, you know, like just you walk around me and then like turn into a cat.
And so there was a famous documentary that came out years ago about cats.
Yeah,
in
totally.
Istanbul. It's called KJ, which is Cat in Focus, and it's about like 7 specific cats and kind of explains why they cat there.
I learned about the cat thing in Istanbul from a book called The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. It's a fantasy book, but
I love N.K. Jemisin.
Oh, she's great. She's wonderful.
I'm reading Obelisk Gate now.
Oh, it's so good. The whole series is so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of her stuff.
Wait, where in the city of the Queen is there in Istanbul?
Maybe it's the sequel.
Okay.
Which
I have not read the sequel.
the sequel is a lot different than the first one,
Okay.
because they were written before and after COVID about New York City, so it's very. But in the sequel, there are a bunch of cities that kind of appear and take on. Well, cities in this book take on personalities, sort of, and they have avatars with powers.
Oh,
And,
wow.
Istanbul's powers have to do with cats.
That's so funny and on
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I think in book one they got as far as Jersey. So.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Got Jersey, yeah. Well, there was Sao Paulo shit.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I realized that because I had to go get my student visa at the American Embassy several times now. Did my undergrad here too. And it's like such a lengthy process to get in, like you have to go through some security check, whatever, for anyone who wants to go in. And then right before the interview room, there's just this cat like lying on the tables, like coming in and out, like wherever. And I was like, wow, they really, it's so good. That's where I realized.
Yeah, my cats are actually from Philly. When I lived in Philly, we adopted.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Where you were in Philly?
I was there from 2010 to 14. Yeah, so it's been a while. But I really liked it. It was nice. I think I need to announce the next icebreaker. Time to head to room.
Nice to meet all of you. Bye.
Okay, so I think the question this time is, if you had to live for a year in the world of a book, which book would you pick? And I have to think really hard because none of the books I read are about nice okay, so hi everyone, I'm Noah. I'm interested in human vision. And if I had to live for a year in the location of the book, I would pick the Player of Games by Ian Banks. He is a sci-fi author who writes very utopic versions of the future, where like everyone has all their needs taken care of. That's about the only book I can think of where I'd want to live for a year. So I go with that one. Someone else want to go next?
My name is Simi. I'm from Lithuania. I study in Geneva. I am working on lifespan attentional patterns in both humans and in non-human primates, just analyzing big data. And I have just gotten into reading over the last few months. I like my books to break me and hurt me, and I just finished No Longer Human, and it did do that. So if I could just live there for a year and be broken again, I would do that. So that.
We have different reading strategies. We have a lot of people in person, so maybe another in-person person, and then we'll go to an online.
So thinking. I'll just go, even though I don't have one yet, but I'm Hallie. I study stats and methods for fMRI with Stephanie Noble, and I mostly read nonfiction, so that's this world. That's my definition. So yeah, I'll just say that now to say that.
How about someone online? Yeah, anyone online want to go? You can also just introduce yourself if you don't have a book.
Hi, my name is Nancy Ortega, and I study Alzheimer's disease risk factors. And I don't really have a book. The last book I read, I guess, is a picture of Dorian Gray, and I'm not sure if I want to live that year.
At least everyone is really witty in that book. So.
Yeah.
Else?
Continue. Hi everybody, my name is Leah. I just finished my PhD on multitasking and healthy aging at the research center in Munich in Germany. And I'm transitioning into my postdoc about individualized TMS in depression. And yeah, I also don't have a book, but I just started watching House of Dragon, which is space. So I would pick that because I have dragons in my mind, and I think it would be just cool to fly on a dragon.
Great world. I wouldn't want to live in that universe, but no. Someone online?
Hello guys, I'm Luis. I'm a master's student from the Netherlands, but I'm originally from Mexico. And yeah, also thought about House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones world, but I don't think humans do really well like there. So yeah, I have no idea. But nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Someone else?
My name is Shannon, and I'm from
A little closer, though.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry about that. Sorry, we're testing the. Turn off audio for a second. Sorry, we're testing the audio in the auditorium, so you heard some of that. Sorry, start again. Yeah.
So my name is Shannon, and I'm from Santa Barbara, this is the University of California, Santa Barbara. And my interest is in social emotion. I was studying gratitude and guilt in interpersonal context. So I designed a program to put participants in the real social interaction that contribute. And so if I have to pick a book, I do not really have to book. Like I just finished my brilliant friend that I still want to live in that universe.
Yeah. Someone else?
I guess I can go.
Yeah.
So I'm Kirti. I'm a second year PhD student at the University of Texas, and I'm interested in neurolinguistics. And so I work with like MEG data in the lab. And as far as the book question, maybe like this is kind of basic, but like the Percy Jackson like universe, or like the Kane Chronicles, like something where it's like kind of mythology based, but it's still our world, I guess.
The Chronicles of Cain Black Knight.
Huh?
Are you talking about Cain Black Knight or a different Cain?
No, this is like the same guy that wrote Percy Jackson.
Okay,
had
yeah,
another
different
series.
series.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, cool. Next.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. I am a third year PhD student at McGill University in Canada. I work mostly on currently neuroinformatics tools for reproducible organization and processing of MRI data. For the book question, I think I would choose Middle Earth. Which is the world that we're living in, the seven. That's how I like those events.
Okay. Hello, my name is Shuhei. I'm a PhD student at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, Japan, and then my interest is in like schizophrenia, like perceptual inference in schizophrenia, and using MRI function of MRI. And the book regarding the book, I think my answer is the same as perceptual.
Okay.
And I just want to leave.
It's a popular one this
Yeah.
time. I think that's everyone except Kopal. Kopal, do you want to introduce yourself? We got about a minute here.
So yeah, of course, and this will be the third time. So hi everyone, I'm Kopal, and I'm from India. Currently, I'm pursuing PhD. I'm fourth year PhD student at Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur, and my background is CS. And yeah, I'm working in the intersection of neuroscience and computer science, and try to use deep learning models to unravel some of the interesting facts in neuroscience. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're basically have a little bit of a break now, and then we'll be back here in about 5 minutes for the next session. So thanks for participating, everyone. We'll see you back here in a few minutes.